action. We're back with D Money.
Is that it?
Yeah, and Jen. We don't have any nickname. I don't know how to spell her name. Is it Jen, Jen, or Jenn? Does anyone even call her Jen, or is it just Jennifer? And how do you spell Jennifer? Is it Jenniffer, or is it Jenniffer?
No.
I tried both of those in my email last night, but for some reason her email is not coming up.
Jen, simple.
Keep it at Jen. Let's stick with Jen. Maybe get a new. Is your email at AOL.com?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, get a new email.
I do, but
Jen, grow up. You haven't been hacked
I
yet.
have a Gmail, but all my annoying things go with AOL. So you're categorized.
I categorize them. What's the not annoying thing? Saks,
Like
Bloomingdale's gift card. And then we got McGraby, the guys at hotmail.com. Shout out to McGraby. Dude, you got to change that. All right, Chapter 2, Reproduction. Genetic continuity. Okay, I don't like DNA that much at all, but let's just talk about it. So you have the idea of genes. Now, the biggest thing here is the genes is the big title. You got the, I guess DNA is the biggest title. Then you have genes or specific portions of it. And then you have chromosomes that are even smaller. Those have all the genetic information. And then you have traits, which are things that are observable. So like eye color, height, the DNA in every cell in your body is exactly the same. Yeah. Oh, that's very important. So they'll say like the DNA in your toe and in your head, they'll be mostly the same. No, they'll be exactly the same. It's like a book. Every book has the same title, but they all have little different roles. You don't like that analogy?
I thought it was solid. No, I liked it.
Thank you.
It doesn't make sense.
Thank you, Dylan. Does it say page or did I make that up?
Every book is the same. No, and every part of the book.
Think of DNA like a book.
No,
Every
it's
cell is
like
the same DNA,
a
but different
book.
parts of your body use different parts of the DNA.
Every part uses a different chapter. Like that.
Every cell has the same DNA, but different part. Yeah, I don't think I thought I explained it better though. Every page is part of the same book. It has the same title. Not a great analogy. That's a Jed. Hit us with an analogy.
You gotta think of one, you know.
Just able to be negative. See, that doesn't take much skill to do that. Come
I'm
on.
not clever. I just know when it's good or not.
Fine. She has it doesn't claim to be clever. Okay, so DNA is the double helix. It's a twisted guy, and you have on the DNA, that the A pairs with the T, and that the C pairs with the G, right? So if I gave you a thing, A, T, G, you would know that this is T, this is A, this is C. When we do RNA, there's no such thing as T, so the T would be replaced with a U, but you would still pair that T back to the A, and so on. So those are the pairs. Those are called subunits. And yeah. All right. So proteins. So how do proteins have any relationship to this at all? So proteins are built up out of amino acids. They're made in the ribosomes. That's where the work is carried out. But the way that it happens is the DNA codes for the RNA then codes for the production of the proteins. And you know that chart on the right, that's a classic. I think everyone knows how to do that chart, but you still give them a chance to do one because it guaranteed comes up on the test, so it's worthwhile. DNA is able to control activities, protein synthesis. This little guy, A, is a gene, right? He's an individual gene. He's not an amino acid. An amino acid is the thing that they code for to make the amino, so that's fine. RNA, so we go from AAG to UU. This guy's not as easy to use as I would like. I also don't have a good handwriting. UUC. That's nasty now. GGU. C. Oh, sorry, G. That's A. ACU. UGU. Yeah? And then you go to the chart. U. C. Gives you the FHE. C. Start on the left. C. A. C. A.
That's a G.
Pro. What?
It's a GG.
Oh, I got it. I can't read anything that I wrote. Oh.
So it's GLY.
G. U is GLY. Okay, I'm not writing this anymore. ACU. I'm having a harder time writing than solving it. It's THR and ACA.
C.
It's
CYS.
THR, and the other one was something else. Oh, it coded for something. All right, whatever it is. Okay, and then there's another one if anyone wants more fun in the sun. And then the inability of an organism to produce certain proteins can occur when an organism is lacking an enzyme to combine amino acids, right? Okay. Asexual versus sexual. Okay, so this is somewhat hard. So asexual reproduction is the process through which a single-celled organism usually splits into two identical copies. It's a clone, a direct clone. So over here you have one cell becomes two of the identical cell with the same number of chromosomes, the same everything. It's an identical copy. The original guy's gone. It's not like these are his kids. He is literally now two people, which is pretty sweet. I would definitely rather reproduce that way, I think.
Then you would be gone.
Yeah, but there would be two of me, man.
It's different. No.
And then there would be 100 million of me.
Crazy.
I don't know if we would duel each other or if we would like each other. It's fascinating.
It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I don't know. It's cool. It is cool. So that's asexual. Humans don't do that though, so don't get carried away. And then sexual. Sexual reproduction starts with a process called meiosis, but then also uses mitosis, and we'll get into more detail there. Cell division, mitosis, one cell becomes two cells, they double and then they split, which makes sense. So if they originally had 4 chromosomes, they become 8, and then it's 4 and 4, so they split. Okay, it's called cell division, right? Meiosis requires 2 different cells, so we're going to show the process that happens in one cell. You have this single cell over here. It goes through all this weird stuff that you don't have to know until it creates something called sex cells or gametes. That's the sperm and the egg. They contain half of the genetic info. Why? Because they're going to pair with the other one that has the other half. So they go through their own weird thing till they make a bunch of gametes. Then those gametes, the sperm and the egg, fertilize. They come together to create a zygote, the original baby cell. Then how does that baby cell become a human? It actually undergoes mitosis, cell division, where it splits and splits. Now, why is not every cell identical then? Didn't you say that makes a clone? Specialization. They each take on a role. Differentiation and specialization. So it's pretty strange. Your nose cell is the same exact cell as your toe cell, but somehow they look different. Startling stuff. Very interesting. So yeah, that's the egg, the sperm, each with 23, half of the full chromosomes, 46, the embryo, and so on. Fine. So event A is 1 to 2. That's going to be mitosis or asexual reproduction. 2 to 1 is going to be sexual reproduction. The one on the left, you take one out into a culture. This becomes a cluster that it just reproduced by itself. Mitosis. A difference between the effects of. That's how you use effects. Oh, effects is a noun and affix is a verb.
No, affix is a noun, a verb.
Affix is a verb. Oh.
No,
I thought it was the other way around.
I didn't know there was a rule. I thought you just gotta figure it out. What's the rule?
What?
The difference between the effects of, so I'm affecting you in a negative way, A.
Okay.
I had negative effects on you, noun.
So that's the noun.
Is the noun, correct, yeah. So I was just learning the rule on the spot.
Genius.
Thank you. The effects of the genetic information passed on from asexually reproducing to their offspring and sexually reproducing parents to their offspring is the, what's the answer?
4.
The variation between the parent. Right. So in humans, they're different parent offspring, not the same. In others, they're identical to each other. To the parent is the offspring. Which expression correctly does the one where humans, where it's 2n, so it's n plus n equals 2n. Those are the sex cells that have half. A zygote becomes a multicellular through mitosis and specialization. It does mitosis, but it specializes. Single-celled organisms are able to maintain internal stability because they single cell contain structures, right? So the structures, the individual structures do the life functions. This is an example of a split. It's asexual. This is an example of mitosis, gametes that will be involved in the formation of a zygote. Okay, zygote, we talked about this. They join, mitosis, differentiation. They become the embryo. They become the fetus. Top left is what?
1.
Specific sections of DNA molecules are activated. Some variation must be present in the population in order for natural selection to take place. These variations arise from mutations in the DNA and from sorting of chromosomes during sexual. So we're going to get to this when we talk about variation and evolution, but the starting point is the idea that we produce sexually. So we're not going to all be genetically identical to each other, and that's going to give our species a survival advantage when we talk about evolution.
I have a question.
Yes?
For number one, how do we explain that it's not sections of the amino acids are being activated?
Which two specialized tissues that contain identical chromosomes to function differently? So which one did you say?
I chose one, but three. Like I feel like they would ask why isn't it three?
Specific sections of amino acids. So amino acids just make protein. It's a random guy to talk about. He's not the one that... The bottom, I guess, how did the eye look like an eye and the toe look like a toe? Because there's a code in the chromosomes for all of it, and just certain pieces of it are activated. So I guess that's the idea. But yeah. The third one, beta cells, both contain the insulin gene. However, skin cells cannot, so this is called differentiation, even though they both have the thing. And then on the right, why is a form of asexual? Because they make clones.
The shark didn't mate.
It didn't mate, or does it, right? Explain why it could be harmful to survival of species. So this is what we're talking about evolution-wise. Imagine in a certain day and age, way back in the day, it was worthwhile to be tall, right? So all of the humans were these barbaric, giant-like creatures, not the brightest at all. Now, what would happen if we moved to the modern society where being large is still attractive, but it doesn't really guarantee you food. You can't really steal that much. Guys could have guns. You're more of a big target. The lions could find you easier. So it would no longer be an advantage. So same thing here. Maybe the sharks that were coded were slow, or maybe they were too fast, or maybe they ate certain food that would eventually go extinct. So that's why it makes worthwhile to have diversity. Some children may resemble, we'll talk about that a lot more. Some children may resemble one parent and not the other. Doesn't mean it only has genes from one parent. Doesn't mean that. It just means that those genes are expressed and the other physically and the others aren't. Mutations. So there are a bunch of mutations. A mutation is the idea that something in a cell could go wrong, could get weird. And the way that happens is by an issue happening in the DNA. Substitution is where GAT became CAT, just the G fell off. Deletion, that's where it really fell off. I guess the other one, it got deleted. Addition, they added, something just fell away in. And inversion, the order switched. So what happens if you have a mutation? Now your DNA is going to code for the wrong amino acids, wrong protein. Your body's going to have all these stranger protein guys that we don't want, we don't need, and that's going to be that. Which event would most likely cause a change in genetic sequence in an organism? Right, exposure to radiation. Oh, so that's an important one, right? That's why they say don't use your phone, don't put your laptop on your lap. It could cause mutations in your sex cells. And is that what we need to talk about? Is that where we do it yet? A mutation is only passed down if it's in the sex cells.
Yeah,
We did. It says it in there. Oh, okay, fine. So that's very important. So if I get a mutation in my eye cell, okay, so my eye is going to look weird. But when I have a kid, is he going to have a mutation? No. The only way that he gets a mutation is if the mutation takes place in my sex cell, which happens to form that child. So now, okay, number 2 is what? An example of what? 4. Deletion of base 4. Right, so 4, you have to just go check it. This one, ATA, you have replacement. Substitution, yeah. Okay, then here, which one will be passed on? The one in D, that's the sex cell. A normal thing, only if it's in every cell that develops from it, right? Yeah. So cancer happens in just one cell, so big deal, right? But the mutation is a mutation that tells the cell to just reproduce like mad and take over the body. That's why it's a problem. A fruit fly, the only way it'll pass down is if it's in the gamete of the fly. A cell, this is most likely due to alteration in the structure of the bases. Nicotine is one of toxic chemicals. It could cause a mutation. Eliminate chromosomes from, what is it? Stimulate uncontrolled cell division. That's cancer. It's called uncontrolled cell division. Okay, expression. Depending on your environment, you look different. So you have this rabbit, he's got a normal back. Then you put this ice pack on him, all of a sudden he looks different. How did that happen? The gene impacts, his genes didn't change, the environment impacts the expression of his genes. Okay, the one on the left, 3. A result of genetic information being influenced by environmental conditions, good. Hydrangea plant,
3.
also. And then this one, the goldfish. The expression, right? Basically identical answer. So you see, this is just a pattern. It comes up. It's great. You know it. You're good. Genetic engineering. Sometimes, bacteria have a certain advantage over humans that they reproduce speed and quick. So now, how can we utilize that advantage? Utilize that to our advantage. So you have humans who can't produce insulin. So what we could do is take a piece of a gene that codes for the production of insulin, cut it with restriction enzymes, insert it into a bacterial gene. That gene will then reproduce rapidly, and now we have tons of insulin. So that's basically the idea. Anytime you see this picture, genetic engineering, biotechnology, gene manipulation, those are the words. Selective breeding is another way that humans could alter with the genes. That's like the idea of if I took how do you get all these dogs? I thought dogs were wolves. Well, they took the one furry dog that ended up developing, and I paired it with the one other dog, and now I made them have kids. I forced them into a reproductive situation. I don't know how they do that. Do you know? Do they inject it, or they just wait until they do it? Oh, they do it.
I have no idea.
Probably no. I don't think they take 2 dogs and say like.
Maybe they put them in the room, and eventually they have no choice but to do it. I don't know.
The whale. You know the whale?
No, what do they do with the whale?
The whale in SeaWorld. They take it.
Oh,
and
you
they send
watched
it off.
that. And what do they do with it?
They send it off to other whales.
They force him to mate.
No, they just take his sperm and they send it out.
Oh, he's got good sperm.
He's big.
Yes.
So now they may be able to do this with humans one day. I always think of this. I want to donate to sperm banks. Why don't people do that? I'm very interested in it. There was a point in my life when I was in college. I didn't have any purpose. I was like, what's the meaning of what I'm doing here? I'm not contributing. I was like, you know what I could do that would contribute? I could put my sperm in the sperm bank. It's not the most valuable, but I do think I should be able to sell it.
All over the world.
Yeah, it's great. Then at least if I die, I don't even have to do anything. The other way to have kids, I gotta raise them and stuff. So
I like try and find their father. You can have like little.
Another way is I gotta go out and meet girls and pass on my seed, or I could just do it through the bank. Let my resume speak for itself. Am I not allowed to? I thought my sperm would be. It's not the most valuable, but it would be up there. It has good value. Like LeBron's sperm has more. Yeah. I think smart's probably, like Elon Musk, probably the most valuable sperm, or Steve Jobs, and then mine, and maybe Dylan's is up there too.
What about me?
The egg.
I got the looks and the smarts and the athleticism.
Yeah, yours. That's so. You want to come to the bank with us? We're going soon to the bank. Dylan, you still could do it.
I'll give you the receipt.
I really should do it. No, I don't know. It's such an easy way to give meaning to your life. Do they give you? I want stats though. I want specs on how often I get chosen and whatnot.
What if the kid's like really an idiot?
He's not gonna be an idiot.
And then you feel bad about yourself.
You never meet him. You never meet him.
You guys are ridiculous.
You never meet him. You could have dreams of grandeur. I would just assume that the president was my child.
Yeah.
I would just be like, oh, Trump, that's my kid. Come on, boy. You gotta behave yourself a little bit better. When you're a grandpa, you call everyone boy. Listen up, boy.
Yeah.
It's great. Okay, anyhow. So yeah, you got the pictures of genetic engineering. Information can be expressed as a result of genetic engineering. Here they make you really write out the process of it, so fine. And then here, the nucleus removed, new cells. They're identical to the original egg cell? No. Identical to the original body cell? No. 50% the same as the egg. Well, what's the deal here? They're taking the nucleus out. They're going to be identical to the body cell. Right, because they're using the body cell's DNA. Okay, gotcha. This is when they first cloned a sheep. That's a Dolly, yeah. And her offspring are genetically identical. They cloned her. And over the past 1,000 years, that's called cloning, right? Is that the right answer?
Wait, which one?
Oh, no, this is selective breeding, yeah.
The other one was 2.
Dolly and her DNA donor are genetically... Oh, Dolly is the clone. Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah,
her offspring are not going to be good. And then this one, what are they doing? They're taking the change plants. It's called killian. We don't do this. It's called selective breeding, right? Cauliflower, right? It's broccoli and something.
Really?
I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
It
No, one of them is. It might be cauliflower.
I'll look it up.
I don't teach the sexual parts to the little kids, honestly.
Why not?
I don't know. I just don't know it really. But yeah, I'm male. I'm not gonna teach the little girls about this. Is a very graphic picture. Also, I don't know anything about.
Boys graphic.
I don't have any of these parts though. I don't know anything about them.
You need to understand it. It's very important.
Yeah. So ovaries. They got the ovaries. They got the tube. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Fine. Then this is the male part. This one I know. I know a lot of info about that. The other one I really have no clue.
No, honestly, the only question I couldn't answer in this whole book, I was starting running to is this graph about the menstrual cycle,
Are you
whatever it is.
serious?
Yeah, I couldn't understand it.
We don't know. We had a whole test on just the cycle.
All right, so let's go through the
Very
answers.
detailed.
The inability of sperm to move could prevent, interfere with meiosis, right?
No, fertilization.
Oh, fertilization. Good point. You're right. It's not going to fertilize the egg. Okay. One function of the male reproductive system in mammals is to
Three.
allow for the delivery of gametes. The reproductive cycle in female is regulated by estrogen and yeah. Okay, fine. The function of A is to provide for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. That's the tube, the fallopian tube. What structure is correctly paired with its function? The placenta. This is the placenta.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What structure is correct? What's this tube called here?
No, not.
Umbilical cord. You're right. Which structure is
fallopian
correctly
tube
is
in
the?
uterus.
I just saw that word, the tube.
That's where you grow when you're having a baby.
You start in the.
You grow in the tube.
You grow in that
And then when
tube,
you're ready, you fall into this and you come out.
and then this is where it grows in.
Yeah, this is where you differentiate.
That's where
Down
you
this
are.
hole.
That's-
This is where you grow. Is this where you insert into?
Yeah.
And then you grow in that area.
This is when I'm
You
pregnant.
don't grow in there, Jen.
You grow in, you differentiate
grow
in
in
the
your
fallopian
belly.
tube.
You
No,
grow in- yeah.
First you're a cell, you're one
Okay.
little cell.
Got you. Let's start with you go in there. You put the deposit the sperm.
No.
Oh, this is not where you
Start
enter.
here.
Where does the sperm
The
enter?
ovary. In the ovary
No,
and the
this-
sperm is
No.
over here. Yeah.
Where does it come into though?
Comes
Here.
in
Guys,
the
this is where the
triangle.
baby's coming out. They're in pregnancy, labor. Oh,
Is this
pushing.
where-
This is where it comes out.
Is this where it goes in?
Of your stomach.
Is this
No,
where?
it's not.
Is this where it goes in?
It comes out of your.
Okay, is this where it goes? The penis goes in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like it stops here.
It stops right. Oh, it doesn't make it all. Oh, that's why you could do
I
it
got
while
Okay,
pregnancy.
Now I know what's going on. Now I get the whole.
So this is really big. This area. It grows.
Yeah.
So then you shoot some sperm. It travels all the way. It's got to swim,
Yeah.
race to the top.
That's why it's
Left ovary, right ovary. Lefties were born in the left
ovaries
ovary.
make the eggs.
Lefties are from the left ovary. Righties are from the right ovary. Oh, twins are when both ovaries get set off. Is that one?
Oh, there's types of
Is that twins?
No,
Are twins from the
Twins
same
is when one
ovary?
egg- Identical is when one egg splits into
Right. What about the other?
two sperms for
Is that
two
two different
eggs.
ovaries?
It could be
or
from the
one?
same ovary.
Do we have any studies of are people smarter from the left ovary or the right ovary?
I'm not sure. Really, probably
Yeah,
not.
brush
They
up
probably
on
don't
some
know
stuff.
which ovary it came from.
Fine. Then you grow in the tube until you get too big. That tube, that's straining, and then it pops into here.
Yeah.
So when you're
As
having
it's a
wait,
developing-
so when you're having
Okay,
sex,
that's my question.
It's the uterus. This is your uterus.
when you're having sex while the baby's in there, you come. It goes right into the baby, into his mouth, like.
He's
What?
in a sack. And
Oh,
he's in the
sack.
You
placenta.
have sex while you're pregnant?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't watch that. You didn't watch what's it called? What is it? What movie they have that?
Every movie.
They have. They always do that.
I
Yeah.
thought you can't have sex while
No,
you're
you
pregnant.
can. No,
That's
there's
the
no
best part.
period.
There's no
You could
period.
have sex the whole time.
Do you guys understand what period is?
Now I
Yes,
do.
the egg doesn't get fertilized, so it gets mad, so it drops.
That's exactly what it is. That's how
The uterus over here is building a home for the baby, so it has to like get thick walls.
Oh, the lining comes out.
Yeah. So if there's no baby in here, they're like, shit, what do we do with our lining? So they bleed it out.
Oh, the egg stay put.
The egg drops.
Oh, and it comes out
Baby
also.
lily, I don't know what it looks like.
Does an egg drop from both the left and the right?
You only have one egg out of four. The
Oh.
polar bodies, you know?
No,
You wrote it in the notes.
I didn't write all these notes. Okay, so Jen is going to be a very good teacher. Me and Dylan were just enlightened. Which structure is correctly paired with its function?
Testes.
The testes. Do I have to edit out the sex combo if I'm going to share that with students?
Oh, the student? No, they love it. They'll
Yeah,
love
but it goes viral. I have too many relationships with schools. My left stroke just went viral. Okay, testes. Is that the answer? Yes, development of sperm. It's really hard to teach this without laughing.
What?
Estrogen goes up, then prostoestrogen goes up. So the answer is, what's the answer?
it. Jen, were you in our baking
Day
class?
14.
Day 14 is what? The day that,
The walls bleed. The walls shed, and that's why you bleed.
why? Once the estrogen starts going down, or it has to do with this picture? Oh, the egg dropped.
Yeah.
That's why?
Oh, that's what that is.
Okay. And then which section of the graph shows the location where the zygote would most likely become implanted and developed? See? Here?
Yeah.
Lining of the uterus. It's gonna which section of the graph shows
Section A. these are the hormones. This is just like a follicle. And this is the uterus. This is
where it goes. And then identify the human reproductive hormone that is not shown in the graph. Testosterone.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I know that one. Pregnancy. A zygote cells do mitosis. The placenta is formed. They're in a sac. The embryo turns into a fetus. Reproductive technology discussed. Thank God we are done with reproduction.